start the fight, breaking down the walls in the dead of night. I don't come for peace, I come for the storm. Fanboys melt quick when the truth gets warm. Saw content's high, I'm collecting those tears. Just got started, but I'm cutting through fears. I'm not here for brand deals, I'm not for sale. I expose your lies, rip off the veil.
Oh boy, you know, I am really starting to believe all the rumors that I keep hearing about Dreamcast guy. It is perfectly fine if you want to criticize the Switch 2, you don't like it. You know, I have been very critical of the Switch 2. But the difference between like me and Dreamcast guy is I actually held the line. I didn't sit here, tell everybody don't buy it, don't pre-order it, and then ran out and did it. That's exactly what Dreamcast guy is. So he wants to sit there and be like, oh, do I still hate it? I'm pretty certain we already know the answer to it. Let's get into this reaction.
And it has now been about a month since the Nintendo Switch 2 initially came out. I bought one day one, and I had some viral videos talking about how much I hated this, but
oh yeah, I wonder why they went so viral. Did it have something to do with you bashing the system so damn much? Telling people don't buy it, it's a waste of money, and then you went out and pre-ordered one the first chance you got? Oh yeah, that probably has something to do with it.
But I wanted to be open-minded to having my mind changed. So
that is such BS. You were in no way thinking of having your mind changed. You went out and bought it because you knew you could use it as a tax write-off, and you just secretly wanted it. The way you bashed that system and said that you absolutely hated it and still continue to play it, I seriously doubt that it would have changed your mind by now, because it's not like anything has come out for you to change your mind. We both know if you were going to play a third-party game, it would be on your PS5 Pro. You bought a PS5 Pro for a reason. You care about having the best graphics when it comes down to it. And if you didn't like Mario titles or Nintendo titles period, then you wouldn't have bashed that system to begin with. So who are you trying to kid?
for the entire month of June, this was my primary gaming device. I actually kept it with me constantly, playing it at the gym or out at the cafe or just anytime I wasn't actually doing something that required my attention.
I somehow do not believe that, because what games are you really playing on there? I guarantee you played all those third-party games by now. But I do hear rumors about you. The rumor is on the street that you may play 20 minutes to an hour of a game and then act like you played the thing and then do a review. That's just what I've heard. Because I'm pretty certain you came out with a Mario Kart World review day one. Now, you could play and beat that game in less than a day. You could honestly play and beat that and Fast Fusion in a day, if we're all being honest here.
I do a couple laps in Mario Kart or boot up some NSO games or something, and I wanted to talk about my thoughts after playing hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours of it, because
I have a very hard time believing that you've played hundreds of hours on that thing, just like you said, from the NSO and from Mario Kart World. Because if you truly did like Nintendo's IPs, you would not have bashed that system when it first came out. You would not have been bashing that system before it even released. So somehow, I do not believe you.
I still feel like I'm in a spot where this feels incredibly overpriced, especially for some of these accessories and stuff, but I'm beginning to see the potential long term, and I can see why.
Yeah, there were many people that were able to see the potential long term when it came to the Xbox, and we've been seeing how well that's been going. But I will admit, some of those accessories are very expensive, and there is one accessory that is expensive and freaking useless, and that is that damn ugly ass web camera that Nintendo wants to sell you.
Why? The people that love this, I think I'll be on your side soon, but currently, this still has some issues that absolutely, in my opinion, are unforgivable, but let's break it down.
To be honest, the only issues that I see with this so far is the overpriced Mario Kart World and giving us a game that should have been a pack-in title. For everything else, I'm actually pretty happy with. Only time's going to tell if those controllers are a piece of crap like they were on the Switch one.
Now, I want to divide this video in half. I want to talk about this as two separate chunks, the hardware and the software, because currently,
there's no way I'm reacting to both, so I'm just going to skip to the software. Actually, nah, I'll watch some of the hardware. We'll see. It is kind of a long one, so we will actually see what's going on.
There is a lot of issues. Just in general, I feel like even people that own the Nintendo Switch 2, they're encountering problems and some benefits they perhaps didn't imagine. But let's start by talking about the system itself. Now, the Nintendo Switch 2 is definitely a bigger, beefier device. It's got a
Yeah, it looks a little bigger, but I was told by other people, oh, it's way bigger. It's way more than an inch.
Now we have to talk about the screen drama. A lot of Nintendo Switch fans have been very offended about, well, the facts of the fact that a lot of people have done some deep dive analysis about how bad this screen is. They claim, oh, I don't see it.
If he's talking about the ghosting, then I didn't see it whatsoever. I think there are only a select few people that can actually see it. Unless you're purposely trying to make it happen, I don't think it's really going to happen. It's really going to affect most people. And if he sits there and says like, oh, it does affect me, you didn't say none of that before Digital Foundry came out and talked about it. So I think you're full of shit if you're going to sit here and do that.
This has an incredibly low quality screen that's worse than the original Nintendo Switch, than the Nintendo Switch OLED, than the Switch Lite. This has a strange blurring effect, and when it's in motion, maybe you don't notice it as much, but I do feel like as you play stuff, moving the menus around, playing 2D stuff, there is definitely a very apparent delay to stuff that just looks...
You're only saying this because Digital Foundry said it. You were not talking about it whatsoever until now. You never mentioned it in your review, why I hate the Switch 2, or you would have sat here and said it, so I don't actually believe you. I think you're just trying to piggyback off of Digital Foundry. Now, apparently there were people that were talking about it before Digital Foundry, and I do believe that there are some people that actually sit here and do it because they can replicate it. I have seen pictures of it, and it's not an easy thing really to do here.
Slightly off. I'm not going to claim it's game breaking. I'm not going to claim it's unplayable, but there is definitely something very strangely messed up about this screen that when you're trying to play it, I do feel like it's distracting at times.
For some people, yes, but not for you, or you would have sat here and mentioned it in your other review. Oh yeah, you love jumping on anything that's news related like that to sit here and continue on this console war BS to make it seem like the PS5 is the greatest thing ever. If you would have noticed that beforehand, you would have said something. I will agree that it is not, for what the price you pay for, I would expect a better screen. They should have went with an OLED screen, and maybe if they would have had to eat the cost, and they should have ate some of the cost.
Now, let's talk about the software, and I want to talk a bit about some of the new features of this, and I want to start with game chat. Now, this is something I want to test thoroughly because it is the new sort of bells and whistles, completely new function specifically for the Nintendo Switch 2. When you get the Switch 2 or you get the Switch 2 Pro controller, there's a big button, a C, and when you...
Which stands for a credit card, but I will admit that the whole game chat function that you got to pay for, it is ridiculous. That one should actually be free.
Press this C, it automatically pops up game chat. Now, this is something that allows you to essentially, finally, voice chat directly on your Nintendo Switch. Now, not only does it voice chat on your Nintendo Switch, it voice chats with your Nintendo Switch. This...
Oh, congratulations. I don't think it's that big of a deal. I would recommend for you guys just to use Discord. Connect another headset or something. Do it that way. Then you can talk with your friends. And it's free.
Actually has a built-in microphone. It has built-in noise cancellation that is extremely good. It gets very, very hot in this room. I will blast this AC unit. When I'm playing Splatoon with my bros, you can't hear anything except my crystal clear voice.
It's sad that you can get a better mic from that, but you can't sit there and somehow figure out how to use your mic. Me and you have the same damn mic.
Let's talk video games. I think my biggest problem right now with the Nintendo Switch 2 is the fact that it really doesn't have much to play. It really just doesn't have much overall. Like, you can play Mario Kart, you can play Cyberpunk, you can play Bravely Default Remake, which in my opinion, even though I am enjoying that game, it definitely should not be $40 on it.
Actually, I disagree. I think $40 for a report is actually a pretty fair, because they do got to spend money to actually make it work on the Switch 2. So yeah, you know what, $40, I think that's actually a very fair price. Now, it would be better if they sit there would have put it physically on the cartridge, but I've said this before, when the only options you have is a game key card and a 64 gig, what do you expect them to do?
Honestly, the fact that it's a remake of a 3DS game, that should have been released on the original Nintendo Switch. Making that a Nintendo Switch 2 exclusive was just scummy.
Okay, at first I got a little confused, so I think what he's trying to say is that it should have been released on the Switch 2 and the Switch 1. I'll agree with him. Yeah, it should have been.
And then there's Fast Fusion. I bought, I think, all the Nintendo Switch launch games.
I will say, Fast Fusion actually looks phenomenal. It really does.
At least all the ones I wanted to play. And they're all cool. but I don't feel like there's that big, stunning, tech-focused game.
There isn't. Not for no first party. They're going to be like, oh, that's what we got the third party for. Yeah, I'm talking to you, Nintendo Prime. I saw your newest video. I was going to react to it, but unfortunately, Dreamcast Guy and Harmon beat you to it. I had to sit here and do theirs first.
I always like whenever there's that next-gen game that really feels like it's the impossible feat, that game that is just so much better at crowd density or resolution or frame rate. You go, oh yeah, that's next-gen.
And I think it's possible that Donkey Kong Bonanza could have been that game. Now, we won't know until it actually comes out. That direct made it look amazing, but it is so easy to polish up a trailer or a direct or even a demo. You can polish those games up or polish those sections up to perfection to make it look like it, but we have been fooled before.
And I have to admit that nothing quite yet feels like that at all for the Nintendo Switch 2, and that's kind of boring if I'm being honest.
Okay, but you knew that before you even pre-ordered the damn thing. This was not a surprise to anybody. I was saying this before the pre-orders even came out for this damn system. We all knew that the only actual title coming out at launch was Mario Kart World. And yeah, even though it looked good, it did not look dramatically better than what Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. We knew what was going to happen. We were saying it. Dreamcast Guy, don't act like you did not know that this was coming. Stop acting like, oh, I got nothing. You knew you were going to have nothing to play and you still chose to buy it. So I'm not going to feel bad for you. Stop trying to act like a victim. Stop trying to be like your friend Player Essence.
Now, with that being said, the graphical boost of Nintendo Switch 1 games has been nice. A lot of games across the board, especially in handheld, run better, they look better. There's a lot of games that were sort of stuttery 30 FPS that would sometimes dip down to 22 FPS or something like that.
Really, all they did was just up the frame rate and smooth it out. That's all they did. I wouldn't even say it's really a graphical boost by much. Maybe some of them might have a slight graphical boost.
I will say that right now, the primary problem of the Nintendo Switch 2, among everything else, I do think is just the fact that $80 games, $100 controllers, $500 console, that's the kind of stuff that I feel like is going to price people out of a market that used to be the cheapest. Nintendo.
Yes, but you knew about that before you even pre-ordered it. We all knew that the stuff was expensive. We all knew that Mario Kart World was overpriced. And you sat there and told people, do not buy it, hold out. And then you ran and pre-ordered at the first damn opportunity. This is why you get so much heat for what you say, Dreamcast Guy. And I'm starting to think you just do it on purpose to get the attention. I honestly believe you're just an attention seeker. And now it's time to read off the members of the channel. We got Koros Objective, Maximilian Pegasus 88, Mattbox94, Watari, Shade Milkman, Oh No Is Justin, Brian Payne, Jay Wesby 65, Andy Ritz, C-Stars Piplup. Thank you so much for becoming part of the crew. And if you truly enjoy this content, why don't you think about becoming a member? It's only $1 a month. You get special emotes, badges, and you get a shout out at the end of each video until it becomes too long, and then it'll be turned into a credit roll. And also, I got an awesome merch lined up for you guys. I got amazing shirts, hoodies, I got coffee mugs, I got desk mats, I got a bunch of different kinds, so why don't you check it out also. And please like, share, and subscribe, and until next time guys, stay vigilant.
You can cry in the comments, but you won't survive. Like and subscribe if you feel that vibe. We're